While I usually avoid things with hack in the title, I changed my tune for this one because a friend of mine directed this movie. And I also usually avoid things with the name Tony in it, but this one was directed by a Tony Goggles, put out by Wild Eye Releasing, and that is Caddy Hack. Tony Goggles is a fantastic filmmaker, artist, super punk rock, VHS dude, just gets it. I met him through his film Cytomaniac, which, if you've ever seen like anything for, it's a dude with a butt for a mask who stabs people in the butt. It's a Merchant Ivory film, I believe. Igmar Bergman, I believe, was the responsible. I got nothing on this one, guys. I'm stretching once again. But yeah, so this was supposed to come out a while ago, and I know it sat for a while because I was still running the Anthony Wayne Theater. Mike Paquin, who's an artist, Big Mike, or he's an actor in this movie. Big Mike used to come to the late night screenings I used to do at the Wayne, and at the time I was writing Bite Size, which was Gremlins meets Ghoulies meets Jaws, about little shark puppet monsters. And he told me, "Oh, I just finished this this little creature movie." And and it finally came out this year, and I was bummed I didn't make it to the premiere at the Smod Castle in Red Bank that Kevin Smith now owns. That's where they did their premiere at, but I was stuck working. Tony Goggles, he did Cytomaniac, like I said. He did Girls Just Want to Have Blood. He's done a couple anthology things. And he also was going to direct The Last Halloween back when I was at Screenwave. I talked my former boss and my former friend into having him on for during COVID, having him on a couple Skype calls with him and the guy from Movie Dumpster about putting that whole project together. And I think that Tony Goggles really understood the kind of that movie vibe that I know I talked about it in another video, that idea of wanting it to look like Halloween, wanting it to look like fall on the East Coast. He really got that. And we had a couple really good meetings, but obviously that project never went anywhere. And I've wanted to work with this guy for a while. I know, he works with the NJ Horror Con, and I've hosted the award, the film awards down there, that he's kind of, done all the sound crew and all that kind of stuff for. He also did the poster for my Trailer Trash event back in 2015, made this beautiful flyer that we put out, and I still have one framed in my apartment. So that's a long way of stroking this guy off and stroking Big Mike Paquin off, who's also great in this movie, to say that this was really fun. And I saw this thing getting a beating from people online, and I was just like, do you not understand what this was supposed to be? Like, obviously it starts off and you're supposed to think Caddyshack, obviously. I mean, it's got little mutant gopher puppets in it with glowing CGI eyes. So it obviously has one foot in that. I like this better than Caddyshack 2. We'll put it right there. But that's not really a high bar to cross. Your mileage with this movie is going to depend on your connection to this kind of comedy. Now, granted, not every joke works, but the good thing about this movie is if the joke doesn't work, there's 4 or 5 already in the chamber ready to go, and there are a couple jokes in this that literally made me fucking laugh out loud. And I repeated them. I watched it here. I don't know when I'm putting this out. I watched this here on Monday night, and then I went to the bar. My buddy Brian was hosting the Eagles game. They lost to the Seahawks, and so I was telling him about this movie, and I was repeating a couple of the jokes, and I was like, no, dude, this is really fucking funny. There are some really funny jokes in this movie, and some great, silly performances, too. It's meant to be in the style of like something like the Meatballs 3 and 4, like the Ski School type of movies, Wacko with Andrew Dice Clay and George Kennedy, something like Student Bodies. That kind of like it's the thing about the movie, or even like Wet Hot American Summer. There's some of that style comedy in it as well. It's very quick. The dialogue is very snappy. But My favorite thing about it, though, is it's hyper self-aware of how blissfully unaware it is, if that's a thing. And I really, really enjoyed that. There's some just hilarious fucking sight gags in this movie. The movie basically is about the Glory Hole golf course. So right off the bat, you know exactly what you're getting into. The main bad guy is essentially Donald Trump. He's a guy who's got this hairpiece that's always kind of crooked, and the strap for it is always hanging out. He's also a little bit of like the mayor from Jaws. There's a big event coming to his golf course, and he needs everything to go perfect. At the same time, there's a dude spraying his own homemade chemicals around, which is causing the fucking gophers to turn into monsters. And the not Donald Trump essentially hires his niece to keep the caddies under control so they don't ruin this event for him. And I love the caddies are just ridiculous. Like there's a dude who's Whole Boy. Who for the while doesn't really speak, but he's like Lassie, like they understand exactly what he's saying. There's a wall of caddies who've died, and as people die throughout the movie, they just add another picture to it, which are really fucking funny. A lot of parodies in this of like, like the Deer Hunter and stuff like that. There's a dance-off in the movie. There's even like Eileen Sullivan is another actress I know from the Philly area. She gets her hand eaten off by one of the gophers, and it's almost like Deathbed when the guy's hands are just clean white when he raises them up out of the deathbed, the bed that eats. I don't know. There's a lot of ball jokes because it's a golf course and it's also a lowbrow comedy. And there's an entire song and dance where a dude gets hit in the balls 37 times. Everybody's committed to the 80s cheesiness of the entire thing. And like I said, like, while not everything lands, and while sometimes you go, there is so much stuff in there that the actors are so committed to the silliness of the entire thing that, like, again, I laughed my fucking ass off at a bunch of this. It's shot really nice too. Tony Goggles obviously knows how to fucking, how to shoot it, how to compose a scene. Color grading was good. I don't know if it was just because I watched it on Amazon Prime. The sound mix was low, and I don't know if that's just an Amazon thing. I will ask Tony if he knows about that, because I had to keep kind of rewinding it a little bit and then like listening a little. I was like, did I miss something there? It was low. The Trumpyism things, it's supposed to be that kind of snobs versus slobs vibe that you had from 80s movies, Back to School and Caddyshack as well. You're the guy with the sprayer is obviously, who's got the chemicals, obviously supposed to be your Bill Murray, or to a lesser extent your Dan Aykroyd from Caddyshack 2. It's got songs in it. It's got it's a whole little realized world. It also kind of made me want to watch Blades again, which was the Jaws ripoff that Troma put out. Again, there's a lot of Troma in this as well. A lot of the Troma movie that's Jaws, but with a runaway lawnmower instead on a golf course. It's pretty funny. That's a good one. Even if you go like Troma, no, that's actually a really fun movie. I remember renting that a lot from B&C Video when I was younger. No, Mike's great in it. Tony does a great job in it. Everybody's fantastic. The girl who plays the main lead, she's really fun in it as well. Everybody's just hamming it up. Everybody's chewing the fucking scenery, and that's before the gophers show up, the mutant gophers, who it becomes like the scene in Gremlins where they're in the bar and they're going crazy. Like the one, because then they all have their own little personalities, and one is like Jamaican all of a sudden, and he takes a hit of like a bong, and he's like, stereotypes, and I was just like, all right, that's fucking funny, Tony Goggles, dude, you made a good movie here. You made a very fun movie, and I'm not just saying this to blow smoke up your ass because I'm a fan of your work, and I like to think we're friends. Same thing with Mike and Eileen Sullivan and all that kind of stuff. I like, there's faces that pop up in this, like, oh, I know that person. I wish they asked me to be in it. I'll be in the next fucking movie, man, and then I'll give you a good review of it. It's a snake eating its own tail. But no, this was fun. It's available through Wild Eye Releasing, who I've also done some work with in the past. It is streaming. You can rent it on Amazon Prime. You can rent it on YouTube. It's got, it even has a fucking ending story song, like a story rap. Where were we? Had to stop because the cleaner came running at me because it's Wednesday night and he doesn't understand why we're so busy. Because kids are off school, it's the holidays, and it's your job to clean the theater. So he just came running at me because we had over 300 people here today. So yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, story rap song. Most recently, they had done it in something like Psycho Gorman, but that was like a huge thing back in the 80s and the 90s, was an end title rap number that basically tells the story of the movie you just saw. And this movie has that, where they talk about how they couldn't get boobs in the movie and how the effects looked the way they did because the movie had like no budget. I appreciate shit like that. It felt of its time. There was no need to. I mean, obviously, the political social meta commentary of Caddy that's in here for the Donald Trump character. But for the most part, it felt like a movie that would have come out in the mid to late 80s to the mid 90s that you would have seen on Showtime or something like that. Anything with like Corey Feldman and Corey Haim, like that very like cheesy, heavy sight gag style, lowbrow comedy. Even something like Orgasmo would do, Trey Parker and Matt Stone. There's a lot of that style comedy in this movie, and I do appreciate that it sticks to its conviction, and again, it's self-aware of how unaware it is. It makes references to the fact that it's a movie, and it doesn't get annoying. There's never like a character to make you go, oh God, So if you like that kind of comedy, if you like that era of kind of lowbrow movies, if you like killer mutant, gopher puppets with CGI eyes, or if you just like to check out movies made by people who I think is cool, I would say go check out Caddy, and rent it up, and hopefully Tony Goggles will put me in the next flick. Caddy 2. I'll be the Dan Aykroyd in this one. That's it. That's all I got. It's Wednesday. I just wanted to spotlight a movie that I finally got a chance to watch. It's made by people who I know and like when they make cool, fun movies. We need to bring back the era of the end title rap song. So that's it, guys. I will see you next Wednesday. I'm going to see if I get yelled at again.